Hey guys, it's Michael, teacher turned trucker. It's been a while. It's been a busy time. I went through the orientation at TMC. That was 12 days in Columbia, South Carolina. And from there, I came home on a Friday and I left out to be with my trainer Sunday evening. So I just got back last night from my first week of over-the-road training. And I tell you what, it's pretty tough. Anyone who's looked into flatbed, if you're not in shape, it's going to push you to get there. That's just understood. For those who like to stay busy, stay physical, who want to get into better shape, it's definitely a way to go versus just driving tanker or box trucks. So some stuff that just take away from my week. Let's start with fluids, electrolytes. I got dehydrated after the first couple days or so. I sweat horribly bad. So I ended up driving Monday and Tuesday, and I woke up Wednesday and I was not feeling well. So my trainer didn't let me drive. Did the other stuff. Took me till Wednesday evening, really start to realize what was going on. So I started pumping the Gatorades, and Thursday I woke up and I felt like a new person again. So Thursday and Friday were pretty good days. We drove, went to Plant City, all the way to Kennesaw, Georgia, back to Lakeland. From Lakeland, trying to remember, it's kind of a blur. I know we went to Panama, then we went to St. Augustine to drop off there. We loaded a little ways away in Palatka, and then headed over to Panama City, and then went over to another place in Gadsden, I believe it was, Florida County, and some of the names running together, bear with me. So we got loaded, had a lot of experience with stuff. Tarping, picking up those lumber tarps is rough. If you're not in shape, and if you're not used to being outdoors and working, like myself. I mean, I told you guys I was a teacher. I worked indoors most of the time. Well, as a teacher, it was always indoors. So I wasn't really the outdoors type. So that made it a little bit more difficult for me. But I have an excellent trainer. His name's David. And what I've discovered, and it took me a little while to realize it, is he's definitely wanting to show me how to do stuff before he lets me do it. And that's very helpful because that's actually how I learn best. And he and I got to talking more and more. The first few days wasn't really a lot of talking, a little bit here and there. And as such, in the vacuum, you kind of fill in. You don't know what the other person's thinking. I tend to be a lot harder on myself than others are. So I was really frustrated. I was really down Wednesday. I wasn't sure I wanted to be doing this, to be honest, because I just felt so behind. I didn't feel like I was doing very well. And once I started talking to David a little bit more and opening up some, he just made it clear. He says, look, I haven't said anything bad. I haven't yelled at you. So the strengths when we did the eval at the end of the week was willingness to learn, willingness to work. So that's what you have to have. If you're willing to continue and you work hard, you can and be teachable. You can do it. My struggle, flat out, is backing because of the way some of the loads ran, and then me getting sick on Wednesday. I didn't get much backing in, so we'll be doing that a lot this week. Watching my trainer, for those of you guys who are really afraid of backing and driving and whatnot, watching my trainer when he turns and he goes to back and all that, if you're struggling, is an excellent idea because I'm not good with the angles. Geometry was one of my worst subjects in school, so it's been very much a challenge for me. Having said that, watching him, my brain started to click a bit with how to get the truck to go where I want. Now it's a matter of putting it into practice. For those of you guys who backing was not as difficult for, because I think just about everyone backing is a challenge, at least at some level to start with, kudos to you. What I found, and I mentioned I think in a previous video, is there are going to be some things that you're stronger at where someone else struggles more. For me, the academic and the knowledge information was very easy, whereas a lot of the skills have been a little bit slower for me. The very first night, we met up last Sunday, and we drove out to Plant City. I drove, and a few times he said, just relax. Apparently, I'm sitting there with my arms straight, just grabbing a hold of the steering wheel because I was nervous. About the time we got to Monday and I'm driving from Plant City up to Kennesaw, I drove most of the way, and then I ran out of clock, so he took over because of some delays at the shipper. I was feeling much better, much better. Not 100%, but I was much more relaxed. I'm starting to get more of the feel for the truck. One of my biggest concerns is I'm not used to carrying that much weight, 80,000 pounds or something close to it. So I don't know how the truck's going to respond when I go to hit the brakes. So David's consistently saying, hey, too much brake, or start braking now. So it's a learning process, and the key word there is process. This is mostly for those of you guys who are new. So those of you guys who are veterans, you know all what I'm talking about, or you should. But for those of you guys who are new, recognize that each of these areas, these skills, driving, backing, securement, all of them are processes. It's not something that we just show up on day one or day two and we got it. I still struggle with some of my turns. I made a fiasco yesterday of one where he had to get out and he didn't have to stop traffic because I was stopping traffic because I didn't make my setup right. So that was a bad experience, but I was able to get out of it with his help. Had an instance where I'm trying to pull in to a rest stop, and one of those things where you just know I have to stop because I don't know what to do to fix it. So I had to rely on him to tell me what to do and lead me. But it's better to stop than it is to just keep going and hope it works its way out, because we all know it's not going to. You're going to hit something. You can undo just about everything, but you can't undo hitting something or someone. So it's better to be cautious and slow. And I've kind of taken that over into my personal driving as well. So those are just some things. I'm trying to think. Another thing we can talk about. Food. I'm a diabetic, recently re-diagnosed. It came back because I got sloppy with my eating. First few days, just didn't eat much at all, but because I was mainly eating proteins and fats, my sugar was stable. I didn't have any troubles with it. So for those of you guys who are maybe a little heavier like myself, or out of shape, I recommend leaning towards a protein keto style diet. It doesn't have to necessarily be full on, but for me, I limited my carbs, and in this last week, I think I lost several pounds. I don't need to go into how much it is, but I lost several pounds, and looking forward to week 2, seeing how much lower I can get it. So I ate a lot of nuts, mixed nuts. Got some keto bars from Aldi. Pork rinds. I love pork rinds. I usually like to eat at least an apple or 2 a day. Bananas. I love bananas for breakfast. I ate 1 or 2 of those. So the last thing I do want to talk about is what to bring. Man, he looked at me when he saw all the stuff I brought, because I didn't know what to bring. I mean, he sent me a list. He said bring this many changes of clothes, so I did. And I had so many bags. I also had a bag I had my steel-toe work boots in, my Atlas. So talk to your trainer ahead of time before you get into the truck and say, hey, I have this. It's on your list. Do you want me to bring it, or just maybe show it to you so you know I have it? Because I know at TMC, your Atlas, your road Atlas, if you don't have it when you go to get your truck, they will not give you a truck. So you want to make sure you have it with you. So that week 4, week 5, depending on the program you're in, you better make sure that Atlas is with you in the truck. I did have steel toes because we have the chance of going to, I think he said it was steel places. You always have to carry at least 1 or 2 long sleeve shirts because some of those places require long sleeves. You have to have a hard hat, which they provide. You have to have the reflective vest, which they provide. I brought two pairs of work gloves. I also brought an extra cheap pack of gloves to use for fueling the vehicle when I get to it. Let's see. My trainer has us coming home every weekend. That's one of the wonderful things about TMC, where barring something mechanical or something unexpected or just bad timing or something, you get to go home on the weekends. You do have the option of staying out if you want, and after I get in my own truck and I'm there for a little bit, I'll probably run 2 out and then home, 2 out and then home, something like that, so I can have a little bit more time. Just get the finances up. TMC, I don't know what's confidentiality or not, so I'm not going to put a number to this, but I know their training pay is pretty close to what I was making as a teacher. It's a couple hundred less, but to start out and be in training and almost be making what I was making as a teacher after 5 years as a highly effective teacher for 4 of those, that says something about TMC. So when you guys go to look for somewhere, take a look at what their training pay is. If they're lowballing you around 4 or 450, unless there's a specific reason that you want to go there and stay there, you might look somewhere else, because there's companies that'll pay you $600, $700, $800 from what I came across when I was looking for companies. That's about it as far as I can see right now. I just wanted to put a quick video out, just some of the things that stood out, some of my experiences. I've noticed we have some new subscribers. I appreciate you guys. If you have any comments, questions, let me know in the comments below. And if you have any requests for a video that maybe you want a perspective of someone who's new, put it in the comments and I will see what I can do. For right now, while I'm training, I'm trying to do the videos on Saturday when I get home. So other than that, I will talk to you later. This is Teacher Turned Trucker, and you have a great day.